Great. Okay, folks, I'm just now on recording. So we are really impressed. I'm impressed with the program that NewWine have put together. I think it looks really good, and there'll be loads to access in terms of Bible teaching, seminar streams. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to share my screen with you, and this is just a very, so hopefully you can all see there this slide. So you can see United Breaks Out. That's this conference. That's what they're calling it. Kate, do you want to talk through the days? I'll let you got Thursday, and then do you want to explain how the days will work?
Right. So have you guys got? Has anybody managed to get one of these programs? I suggested if you had one. If not, if you've got it in the next room or whatever, just go quickly grab it, because I think it makes sense to you more as we go through it if you've got it to hand. So you can see that on the front side where the title is, that's your first page, and that gives you Thursday, Friday and Saturday. And then on the back page, it gives you Sunday and Monday, but it also gives you a box for seminars. So I'll come back to that in a minute. So basically what's happening most days is, in the morning, there is what we would call a main meeting. And like for those of you who've been to Spring Harvest, or I mean, obviously some of you are new winers anyway, or whatever. So you've got your main meeting in the morning, and that's at 11 o'clock. Then you've got your afternoon to do seminars, and there's a choice of seminar streams that you can see on the back page, and it tells you, you know, you can go to, I mean, there's loads, they've put on so many seminars, it's an amazing choice. So every day at 1:30, you've got a choice of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 different seminars to go to. And you could go to 3 in a row on the same topic, or you could mix and match. Anyway, so morning is your main meeting where there'll be worship and a speaker. Afternoon, you can, if you want, to go to a seminar. And then in the evening, you're back to having a main meeting again. And what we thought we'd add in on top of that then is to try and get a bit of a sense, like being at NewWine, is to finish our day with a Zoom meeting, like an in-house one, just for us lot. So at 9:30 in the evening, we'll have a campfire chill out on Zoom. And that's basically just trying to replicate what we do when we go to NewWine, where we all sit round afterwards with a cup of cocoa or a glass of wine or beer or whatever you fancy, and a load of crisps, cake and other junk food. And we just discuss the day and just go, you know, what did you love? What have you done? What did you get out of it? What did God say to you? Have you got any like theological questions that we can debate together? All that kind of thing. Now, obviously, it's up to each of you how much you do or don't go to, and that would be the same if we were camping. You know, some people would go to absolutely everything, and some people might go, do you know what, I've got my fill of input just by going to one thing. So that's kind of, for the adults, that's how the day goes. Now, Matty, are your kids thinking of Stevie, Chloe and George? Are they thinking of going to any of this? The kids stuff? Have we got Matty on?
We may have.
Has he wandered off? Was he the one who wandered off? We lost someone, didn't we? Matthew's on mute.
Matty, if you are there, you're on mute, just by the way.
Yeah, not to worry. I'll message Matty separately. So there's a whole separate stream for things that are going on with kids and with youth. So Paula, I'll touch base with you as well to see what we can do. And we're going to do things with them as well. So we're going to do, like where it says on Zoom, that's like the Emmanuel, St. Paul's stuff. And you know, the black stuff is the stuff that NewWine are providing. Yeah, Matty, are your family thinking of going to any of the kids stuff?
I'm gonna clue.
Okay, well, have a chat with them about it, because my plan is to like just do the same thing with the kids, that we touch base with each other before we go. We all then go, and then we can like share stories with each other, but just see what Vicky thinks and what you guys think. And there's like if you there's no compulsion to keep going. So that's basically your outline of the day. Basically, what's really fun about this is none of it starts till 11 o'clock. So if you're super holy, like Brenda and Sarah, who I know are super holy because I've been to NewWine with them, and they get up at the crack of dawn, you know, spend your early morning in meditation with the Lord, what he said to you the day before, then come to one of the meetings, then organise yourselves to meet up with a friend for lunch and discuss what you've been to. You know, think about whether you want to go to a seminar or whether you want to like message each other and go, who's going to what seminar, and like, shall we go together and talk about it after over a cup of tea in the park or whatever, and then come to the evening meeting and then meet us on Zoom for the campfire chill out. Does that give me a vague nod, guys? Does that vaguely make sense to you?
Yes. let me just talk you through. So when we hit on Thursday night, so I'll just go back one there, if I can. There you are. So on Thursday night, we're going to get the young people together on Zoom. And the luminosity is for the young people, so that's from 11 to 18. Anyone who's in secondary school, so if you know anyone or you have any of that sort of age range in your family, or that's what we're doing for them. And do pray for our young people. We just want them to. At New Wine, normally they are so good, and the stream for the young people is all about helping them understand leadership or evangelism or theological sort of issues. So they've really worked hard for a good program together for the young people. That first night though, the first thing that starts for us adults is there are two venues at New Wine. One is called Impact and one is called the Arena. And Impact is the one that we've tended to go to. It's more for people in an urban setting like us. And the speaker there is Danielle Strickland, she actually technically is a Church Army, not Church Army, Salvation Army person, but she has an amazing ministry and she's a really inspirational speaker. She'll have a lot of good things to say. So that first evening, we thought we'd head to Impact, we'd hear Danielle Strickland, and then we come back in on Zoom. For those who want to stay up, we'll come back and say, what do you make of that? And what are you looking forward to tomorrow? So that'll be Thursday. And then we go into the 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, where the whole day is there. Obviously, the kids start on Zoom with Toast, United Kids, the kids session at 9. We check in with the young people if they're awake and alive for their 11 o'clock slot. And our 11 o'clock slot we've suggested, again, the Impact venue is Jill Duff is Bishop of Lancaster, but we know Jill well. She's been in our diocese, and she was the founding director of St. Mellitus, and she's going to be speaking on Nehemiah. In the Arena, by the way, all of the talks are coming through the New Wine website. They'll be streamed through the New Wine website, but they're going to be housed on YouTube. So if you wanted to hear the Arena talks with Pete Hughes, he's talking about spiritual awakening or something like that, you could go ahead and just do it on the day with Pete. Or you could say, oh, I'll do them next month or, next week or whatever. I watch them catch up on YouTube. But we think we'll go to, and probably most of our folk that we know who would otherwise be there would have gone to the Bible sessions on Nehemiah with Jill Duff at Impact. So we'll go there. Obviously, people will want to do seminars, as Kate said. And then we'll kick the evening off again. Again, the young people, just keep them in mind. Luminosity starts for them after the Zoom at 7:30. And then on the 3 evenings, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, at Impact, again, the speakers are Ben Lindsay, Paul Lloyd and Chris Lane, and their information is on the timetable. And each of those evenings, again, as Kate said, campfire, chill out, and we'll have an hour or so just to have a nice glass of wine or whatever, a cup of cocoa, whatever it is, and some crisps or whatever, and chat things through. And then Monday finishes at lunchtime. So it's the same morning program, but we thought, Kate's idea, which I thought was brilliant, was to have a campfire finale at 12:20 on that day, and that will mark the end of the conference. I did put seminar streams up there as well, so you can see that you'll see those on the timetable. There's 10 seminar streams, and I have to say, I've looked at the speakers, and I've been going to New Wine for 20 years, and the speaker list is second to none. It's absolutely superb. They really are, and the speakers we've got at Impact as well, and the Arena, every one of them is fantastic. There is also a webinar Q&A sofa and live session each afternoon on 5 of those areas that are listed there. That's 4 till 5, and that's basically where you've got Q&As, or you want to ask, or you want to listen to some live discussion. That's there. That's for the taking. That's the mechanics of the time, but we also wanted to say that my question as well is well, so what and what next? And I think I'd like you to think about, well, how will we build into church life together? I think one of the things about lockdown is that it's been fantastic to share both prayer meetings and obviously now New Wine on a wider scale. So it's much more of, I mean, obviously both churches, that's an obvious thing, but also people will be with us at New Wine who actually, we've got one or two who haven't actually been to church. They've joined church while we've been in lockdown. We've got Sarah Jones and somebody else.
Jackie Marsh.
So we've got 3 Jackies actually at New Wine now. It's a Jackie revival. There you are. Anyway, but it's a great way. We would love to see people kind of, maybe whether small groups develop out of it, or sort of things that we can do more together that may come out of it. It's great doing a learning journey together, as Steve said at the gathering. And I just wonder whether, we could, for example, I said if we followed Nehemiah in these 4 days, we could actually do sort of a church weekend later in the year where Friday night, Saturday morning, like as if we were a parish weekend away, and use the other set of Bible teaching to be available online for free. And we could do that if we're still in a bit of a restricted situation, rather than go, wait, we can have a parish weekend away at home and on Zoom, and sort of WhatsApp each other and enjoy time together. But that could be one example. It could be that you go, say, for example, to the prayer stream or the creation care stream, and you get this kind of vision for how we might be able to do something like that together as a church. And obviously, there may be other people interested in becoming like a small prayer or missional community together. So I'm just trying to shape. Could this be something that we take into the future? So that's a question that I don't know the answer to, but I wanted to put in your mind now and see if there's something that may come out of it that we can carry on in our discipleship in the way of Jesus. So that was that. What next?
I just wanted to, I've been thinking this through for myself, and like Mike, I've been going to New Wine for 20 years. And one of the things that I always think is extraordinary about New Wine is that I always come away changed, come back changed. It doesn't have to be anything dramatic, but New Wine, and all of you will know who've been on retreats or anything like that, that God really honours that, doesn't he? When you go away, you set aside time, and particularly if you've gone away somewhere and you've been on a retreat or on a Bible weekend or a church weekend or something, it really has impact, doesn't it? And I'm convinced that the reason that is because we carve out this space where all the normal stuff of life doesn't get to interfere. So, for me in my context, it's, the constant demands of laundry and school runs and, all the admin of children and household and all that kind of stuff. And for others of you, it'll be, work and, all those other kind of pressures in life. Now, I don't know each of your situations, and I'm sure that some of you might have to go to work on the Friday or, the weekend even, or whatever. But I think I was just thinking through for myself, going, how can I practically and spiritually prepare so that as if I was going to New Wine in Shepton Mallet or Peterborough or wherever, that I would have I'd create the same space in my soul so that God can do his work. And God can do whatever he likes, but when I create that retreat environment in my soul where I'm away from all the humdrum, and I've perhaps done all my menu planning for the week, and I've got all the food in and everything, all those practical things are in place, that actually then God has got greater space to be at work in me. So I've just been thinking through what that might look like for me. So I've started writing my menu plan, and I've started doing food shopping for New Wine, just like I would if we were actually going to go away. So I just wanted to encourage each of you perhaps to think through for yourselves, what would it look like to set aside space, practically set aside time, and make that create that physical environment whereby other things can't encroach, so that you are just, for that period, whatever amount of time you're setting aside for New Wine, that you are in a New Wine bubble with Jesus, with the Holy Spirit and with the Father, so that he can do his best work in you, because you're not distracted by whatever it might be. What's the next meal? When's the boss next going to phone? Whatever that looks like. And for each of your contexts, that will be different, I'm sure. But that was just really my kind of encouragement to you to, think through practical things, try and put things, safeguard that space, create a boundary around your new wine space so that you've got, nothing distracting you from what the Holy Spirit's up to.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah, very good.
For me also, that new wine, one of the things that really helps for me is the whole sitting round the table after I've been to a seminar and talking it through. So like Steve was saying, he felt like the gathering, they really journeyed together as a group. I'm a sort of bit of a borderline introvert, extrovert thinker. So I'm not always entirely sure what I think until I've said it out loud or I've chewed it through with someone else. So, trying to think through what things do I want to go to and where therefore is space in my diary and who therefore am I going to contact to say, are you free? Do you fancy meeting up in the park for cuppa? Do you want to, meet up on the phone, on Zoom, FaceTime or whatever to, chat things through? And even if you don't specifically talk about what you've been to, you've just got a bit of extrovert processing time if you're that way inclined. Or if you're more, I mentioned Sarah on Sunday, didn't I, Sarah? A reflective thinker. Sarah's very good at new wine at going off to a venue called Sanctuary, where she just lies on the floor and is in complete silence and nobody can interrupt her. And that's perhaps easier to achieve when you're at home. But I think perhaps sometimes when we're at home, we might think, oh, I'll get to that later. I'll just quickly go and, put the laundry on, or I'll just quickly go and phone such a body or whatever. Whereas when you're at new wine, you go, I'm going to go and find that chapel, that space where it's going to be silent, and I'm going to, meditate on what God's doing or whatever. So perhaps try and be a bit creative. If you think that'll help you, I know it'll help me. Try and be a bit creative into creating a retreat type experience for yourself. Just a thought.
Yeah, it does help. All those things help, and they're all different, obviously. But also, it is great to sort of know you're doing it together. I think we want to push messages out as well, and during a time, and a reminder that the campfires and stuff, just so you feel like you're part of it with others, even if you're not able to come. It's nice to journey together, which is great. Do we have anything else to say at this stage? So just questions and comments.
Questions and comments.
Yeah. So, what thoughts, questions, or anything else that people want to bring? Over to you guys.
How do we find it? How do we find it on YouTube, Mike?
I'm not sure that I think they're streaming through the website. So even if you just Google United Breaks Out, it'll take you to the NewWine website. But they're streaming live from all those pages, I believe. I don't think they're actually.
Yeah, I was thinking because we'll probably try and watch it on the TV because it's a bigger screen.
Yeah.
Through YouTube on the television. So I'm just
wondering
how we would get it.
Yeah, I don't know actually if they're streaming on the website and then uploading to YouTube later.
That's what I thought they were doing, but it could be.
Is that worth you firing a message off to the community group people that you're part of?
Yeah.
Make yourself a note.
Yeah,
Mike can find out to be sure. Make sure how that exactly works.
Thanks, Kate.
It helps us in these practical things. The last thing you want is to be all geared up on a Thursday night to go, I'm going to this talk, it's going to be great. And then it takes you half an hour to get on it and you don't know where it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else? Anybody? Comments, questions, suggestions?
Yeah.
Oh. Pass.
Just the cat.
The cat, yes. Get rid of him. He'll stop at me now.
Sign up for all this, on the website, because it says sign up for ongoing talks. I mean, do you do them daily or do you do them in advance or what?
Do you mean just for the New Wine weekend, or do you mean New Wine?
For the New Wine weekend.
I don't think you need to sign up for anything for New Wine weekend. I think you just go as it is. I think that's probably more something if you wanted to sign up for, stuff beyond the weekend, if you wanted to be on their mailing list and things. Would you say, Mike?
All right.
Yeah. So for the weekend, there's no register or anything.
I think that's what it's for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right, Kate. I think that's just to get things off their site. And when you're booking to go away camping, you need to sign up on their website. Don't you still book your tickets and things like that. But for this weekend, I don't think you need to sign up.
No.
Which is great. It's so generous of them, isn't it, to make this available free.
Absolutely.
I'm sure what I suspect they will do, just as a heads up, because Spring Harvest did this. So Spring Harvest kindly did theirs first, so New Wine was able to see what they did and steal some good ideas. So New Wine made it available all completely for free. But of course, that doesn't mean that it actually didn't cost Spring Harvest anything to put it on. So what they said is come for free, but if anybody wishes to donate, like going to church on Sunday, here's the phone number, or here's the link. So I expect New Wine will do that as well. So just, heads up that they may be saying, if you would like to support the ongoing ministry of New Wine, of course, they've lost out massively this year financially, because they had to book things and then it all got cancelled, so they've lost out massively. So I suppose we need to think through what we're going to give, but think about what it might be worth to you, what you might afford, and even if you give £1, if everybody who goes gave £1, that would be a huge amount in their bucket, wouldn't it? But anyway, so just a heads up that no doubt will happen. Mike looks like he's busy googling Steve's question.
Well, I'm on the community makers. Listen to this, for example. There's a question you might be interested. So somebody out of hundreds of people all over the country, there's a Facebook group. And I said, what's going to be relayed in terms of sung worship? It would be nice if there was some from the arena from previous years to give a sense of being there. Or will people be on recordings singing mainly solo? Carol Kinney, who I know who works for New Wine, says you'll be blown away. New Wine worshippers work really hard to give everyone spirit-led, spirit-filled worship. I know that when I'm in the arena or Hungry or Impact, I always feel so overwhelmed with God's presence in the community, all raising voices to Him. So she's saying that's what's going to happen. Just to say, we had Graham Kendrick leading at the gathering, and he just did songs here and there with his band, but it was just so powerful. I think everyone was just blown to bits by just because you think, how is that going to work? You're sort of sat in your front lounge and you're just watching everyone else do their thing. But I just found it really, really, it was a blessing just to sit and listen to the worship and actually sing along with it as well and just relax in it. Very, very powerful. So that was, I got distracted by that particular one.
We always say, don't we? We have when we go to New Wine each year, we have a get together in the vicarage garden to make sure that everybody's got all their kit and anybody who's new gets a bit of a rundown of how it's going to work. And trying to explain New Wine to people who've not been before is always a bit difficult. And we basically end up saying, it'll be lovely. You're going to love it. It's going to be great. Just wait till you get there. It'll all become clear. And I feel like I'm in that boat this year. I'm going, how are they going to do worship? What the heck is kids' work going to look like? How are they even going to make this relevant to youth? And I just think, no, I trust New Wine. It's going to be amazing. It'll all become clear when I get there. So I'm kind of slightly going with that approach then this year as well, imagining myself to be a newbie.
Matt Beer, who is one of the organisers, he says they will be streamed on YouTube. And I'll tell you why I got to that answer. If you scroll down long enough, you'll see something. Somebody was talking about watching the sessions as a Facebook watch party. Obviously, they were trying to link it through Facebook somehow. But he said they'll be streamed on YouTube. I assume that means. I'll clarify whether. I'm still not sure.
Mike, I take these are recorded sessions. They're not live, are they?
So the way it's going to work is that the main sessions will have somebody in the studio live, and there'll be pre-recorded worship and a pre-recorded talk, and then it'll come back to the live studio for ministry. Well, sort of time to pray and respond.
So the person who would normally be hosting, so like the service leader, they call them a host at New Wine. So the person who kind of leads the event, that's happening live, and then just the speaker and the worship is a pre-recorded video streamed on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's like
great. I'm just going to write a question to the community makers group just to double check how they're whether they're being live streamed, like the sessions are being live streamed on YouTube, and as well as through the website.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Yeah. I usually take a notebook and a pen, and you can make notes from the sessions, or you can write down something you've got from it, and then when the period is finished, you can look back over it, which is quite interesting to do sometimes. So yeah, that's a good idea.
That is a
Some
good
people
idea.
take felt tips, whatever you want, whatever you're into, you know. But it is a good idea to record stuff, and just for your own development, really.
Yeah, that's a good point, Sarah. That's really true. Yeah, because you don't want to lose anything that God's saying to you in the moment, do you?
No.
Also, take a Bible.
Yeah.
Reader, you on mute, love.
Yes.
There she is.
So,
Okay. I found it helps me concentrate if I take notes.
Yeah.
You know, when I've been to Bible things before, if I take notes, I concentrate much better.
yeah. What does that? Does that mean you're a visual learner? I think when you're an auditory learner, you can just listen, can't you? If you're a visual, is it something like that? And you have to. I'm the same. Like if I write it down, you're taking it in twice because your ears are taking it in, but your eyes are also taking it in. Or kinesthetic learner, or knows. Elaine will know. It's one of those things, isn't it? Different ways of learning, different learning styles.
All of them.
Yeah, all of them. All of the above. Yeah. And Sarah's a artistic learner, aren't you, Sarah? You express yourself in art.
Yeah.
Like
And I also need to write things down.
Yeah. I suspect Brenda's an arty learner as well.
I can highly recommend Chris Lane. He's one of my work colleagues. He's brilliant.
Oh yeah. I've listened to him before.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
good.
he did the morning teaching in Impact. Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah.
He's not from
Yeah.
Manchester.
Yeah, it's from Salford.
Yeah. Which is not Manchester. He says it's not Manchester. Langworthy.
Get off.
Yeah, I mean, once you've broken down his accent, he's very, 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 very listenable to. He is great, isn't he? Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah.
So because he was Impact on the third evening, I think.
Yeah.
Fourth evening, yeah. They've actually got a guy called Gary Haugen as well, speaking at the Arena, who works for International Justice Ministries.
Ooh.
I heard him about 10 years ago through Willow Creek, and he blew me to bits. I mean, and apparently he's just a fantastic guy. Very inspirational. He's a lawyer. He's an American guy, lawyer, and just started. He gave up his job and just started liberating. Working for justice in like really poor parts of the world. At great cost and threat to his own life. Just one of them people. And he comes across really well as well. So but Chris Lane's great. And I, as I said before, I don't think I could see a speaker on that. I mean, there's one or two I don't know. But all the ones I do know, which is quite a lot of them, the quality seems really high. So yeah.
If any of you are feeling dead keen and you're wanting to really replicate some kind of new wine experience, if you go onto the Luminosity website, which if you just type in "We Are Luminosity" into Google, it'll come up. So that's the Youth Stream website. They've got a PDF you can download, which is obviously aimed at teenagers, nonetheless. And they're suggesting all kinds of ways to replicate the new wine experience. So things like, if you're really gung-ho, why not sleep out in your garden overnight? Why not decorate a space in your house where you're going to be, wherever your screen is, like, with, I don't know, some kind of, camping equipment, or even fairy lights or something. They had some crazy ideas for how to make your own. So at New Wine, they've got various takeaway food vans, how to make your own smoothie bar, or how to make your own takeaway donut stall, or all these kind of crazy ideas. And although they're a bit wacky, obviously, they're aimed at teenagers, but actually it does make the point of, I did think, well, what am I going to do to create like an environment in our house that makes us feel like we're on New Wine holiday?
You could all wear your wellies.
Well, that was one of
during the sessions.
One of the things they said one of the ideas was for the hardcore campers, they said, wear your wellies all day, every day. Make sure that once you've got dressed in the morning, you don't get the opportunity to change your clothes regardless of how much the weather changes. Only have showers at random times of day and make sure you queue outside the bathroom door for 20 minutes at least before going in. All kinds of random things like that. But again, it just comes back to trying to create space, doesn't it? Trying to create an environment. I'm quite tempted. I have a little backpack I take to NewWine in which I keep my notebook, my water bottle, my pen and my Bible. I'm quite tempted to carry that around with me for 4 days around the house. Just to remind me you're at NewWine, you're listening to Jesus, focus.
What day are we having our barbecue?
Oh,
Yeah.
if only, Steve. Nothing to stop you though, organising yourself a barbecue and inviting someone round. Up to you. What's the maximum we can gather? I'm kind of hoping that on Friday, when the Prime Minister talks about the next phase of releasing lockdown, that you might increase the numbers from only 6 people are allowed to gather, maybe to 8 or 10. That would really help the NewWine cause, wouldn't it? Just a few more of us could gather. But, yeah, organise yourselves a camp barbecue and invite a friend round.
You can make s'mores with a candle. Chocolate biscuits with melted marshmallow in the middle.
Nice. Invite yourselves around to Sarah for one of those.
No caramel shortbread this year, I'm afraid.
What?
Oh, no.
Well, no shortbread.
Oh, no.
Just to tell everybody, what I normally do is make caramel shortbread or chocolate chip shortbread, and I take it, and on the first day when everyone's setting up, everyone gets cake just to give them energy, and then whatever's left gets used at the barbecue. But
it's always good. There's a guy here because I'm planning to make some signs for the different venues, aka rooms in my house. Now, obviously, he sounds like he's got a bit of a large family because he says including the kids zone, luminosity, food court, arena, information, and toilets. I also need signs like red 7 and blue 4 for our various.
oh yeah,
So what kind of size of family he's got here?
That's not a bad idea. That would work in our house, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So those of you who've got more than one, we are. That all the sessions are on catch up. Matt Beer again, yes. So they're producing what they call United Breaks Out microsites. So in other words, they've got a dedicated website. Please pray. Matt Beer has asked for prayer, I've noticed in the feed here, because they are having trouble getting it going and getting it live. Now bear in mind that they've had to set the conference up to do it online quite late in the day. I mean, I know they have more, time than Spring Harvest, but they're obviously working this through. So please do pray for them.
Do we know what that website address is going to be yet?
No. When it's due to launch, it doesn't say.
We'll make sure we've got all this information for you.
We'll find it out
in time.
Don't worry, we will find out.
So, just a question for you: are you all WhatsApp users?
yes.
Put your hand up if you are. Everybody,
Yes.
quick count. Everybody's WhatsApp user. Great. I'm just wondering whether WhatsApp might be a better group than Messenger for the purposes of communicating with each other during NewWine. Just, I don't know about you, but I find it slightly more user-friendly in terms of scrolling back through past messages. It's got a search function on it as well that you can search. I remember somebody said something about, Danielle Strickland. You can type in Danielle Strickland and it will take you back to the message. What do you think, Mike? Would it be a good idea to set up a WhatsApp group?
I think WhatsApp group works well. If everyone's good with WhatsApp, that will work really well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's pretty much it. Unless anyone's got anything else, comment, question, observation.
No, it's great. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for coming in. We'll obviously we'll pause it there now. I'll stop the record.